How's it going, you guys? It's Scott with Everyday Home Repairs. Now today I want to show you how to do a DIY floating deck. The beauty of these, there's no permits, there's no handrails. It is a very approachable project. And specifically for me, I want a little bit more usable space right on the outside of this 12 by 16 modern shed that I'm converting into an office. Now there are a few tools and products I'm going to use that will save you a ton of time and multiple trips to your home improvement store. So let's jump into it. So for my project, I want to make sure everything is level coming off the threshold. So I'll just use my 4-foot bubble level, extend that out, measure down to my surface to get what measurement I'm starting off with and what I'll be working with. So we know we're about 8 3/4, and another way to do this is just get your materials that you're going to be using. These are actually adjustable pedestals. These make it so much easier. You can just turn this and it will give you about 1 inch of adjustment. So something like a floating deck, if you're using 4x4 posts like I'm going to for my main structure, that can be super handy and make leveling up your deck so much easier. But I'm going to do 4x4 posts, two 16-foot 4x4 posts, then I'm going to do 2x4 pressure treated as well for my joists. And I can already see, I can use my bubble level here and see where I'm at, and I'm almost level. So what that means is I actually have to dig down a little bit here because that is not my deck surface. This would be my deck surface. I have 1 1/4 inch pressure treated deck board that's gonna go on top, and I can see I need to go down to make sure I am perfectly level across. So it's a nice transition from the threshold to my patio door out onto the deck. Now I'll start off with my two 16-foot 4x4 posts. I'm gonna trim them up to 191 inches. So my deck boards actually have a little bit of an overhang because they're also actually 16 foot, which measures out to 193. That will give me 1 inch on each side. So digging down here, you wanna make sure if you're going on your yard that you have all topsoils, all organics off. The red Georgia clay compacts well here, but this is actually a compacted CA6 where it has a combination of 3/4 inch rocks and fines and compacts really, really well, where you can set the pedestals right on top for a secure foundation. Then you're gonna have to go through and kind of trim things up to make sure you don't have any interference with your 4x4 post and make small adjustments back and forth. I start with my first and my second, even though I have 3 more supports along the way. And that's because I just want to do the small adjustments, and here's where those adjustable pedestals really shine, making things easy to level up. So now that we have our ends done, I have 3 other locations. They're spaced about 42 inches apart, so I never go over 4 foot without a support underneath this 4x4. I'll have a 16-foot 4x4 here and a 16-footer here. So that's gonna be really our support on our ground. That's gonna be the floating deck, and then we'll use our 2x4s as joists coming across, and those will be spaced 16 inch on center. So now with these adjustable pedestals, I can easily go back through, set these to the right height, make sure it has good support at each one of these locations. Not to mention, you can actually get extensions for these as well. So just in case you have a low side like this and another side over here and you don't want to build the ground up, you can actually get 1 inch, 2 inch, and 4 inch extensions for these adjustable pedestals to build that up. You'll see a link in the description, or this QR code right here will take you over to Everyday Shed, where we offer these products and we use them to set and level out shed floors, which saves us a ton of time. And a little pro tip on these DIY projects, a little laser like this, which is pretty inexpensive, this is just a Klein Tools one, gives you a nice level line all the way across and reference, so you know if you need to trim down one side like I do here, and you can start to then make your fine-tune adjustments, and it's going to get you dead on where you can see the laser start to just hit the concrete where it's going right over the top from across the entire length of the 16-foot 4x4 post. Now I'll move on to my other 4x4, and really here's why I don't like using TuffBlocks or maybe CAMO blocks, which you'll put under each of your floor joists, because then you have to make sure that your entire ground surface is perfectly level, and that can be pretty hard and time consuming. But with these adjustable pedestals, and even without the extensions, you'll have 1 inch of adjustment, which really helps you out. Now I marked 16 inch on center on these 4x4s, and I'm marking it with my speed square and Xing the one side. That's because when our joists come in, you don't want to have to line up your middle. You actually want to go right on the side, and the X tells you which side to put your joist. So it's just a handy tip that's going to help you when you're doing your framing for your floor, which I'm starting right now. I'm going to put my band boards on here, and again, it's just 2x4 pressure treated boards, and I'm going to sink 2 screws in each of these and just start to get my overall rectangle of this 6 foot by 16 foot deck built out. And remember, it is actually 191 inches long, not 192, which would be exactly 16 foot. So I'll be marking the 16 inch on center on each side of the band boards here, so I can reference those for each of the floor joists, which this will be spaced 16 inch on center. Like we said, if you were doing composite decking, remember you need to go 12 inches on center because the composite does not like to span the 16 inches without a little bit more support. So I'm just digging things out, and then I'm going to move it back into place closer to the final resting spot before I start securing everything and making sure that everything is square. So I'm going to tack one end and then measure my diagonals. Your diagonals need to match. If you do not match, you're going to have to make your small adjustments, and then once everything's looking good, you can start to secure your overall perimeter and start getting ready for your floor joists themselves. Now I'm using the screws here on the end. I can go right through, and then I'm toenailing up by the shed. I'm using 4-inch number 10 GRKs to go through the end grain, and then the 3 1/4 inch spacks to toenail near the shed side itself. Overall, the frame is nice and level and secure, and we're ready to move on to the next step. So now comes the fun part. We start putting our deck boards on, and if we've done everything correct with our structure, it should be pretty easy. Now I planned this out so I could buy 16-foot deck boards, which would be 192 inches, but the actual length is about 193. I did measure that, and that's why I cut my 4x4 post and also my outside 2x4s, my 16-foot 2x4s, down to 191 inches, so I know that I would have an inch overhang on each side from my deck boards. So if I do this correctly, I don't have to cut any deck boards, and I'll have one continuous piece all the way over. Now I'll show you the fasteners I'm using from CAMO, but let me get this one first set into place, and then we'll talk about planning it out, hopefully where you do not have to rip down any deck boards and everything lines up well. So I'm trying to get a nice consistent spacing off of the shed with my first board, and you can't use the CAMO jig for your screws on this one because you don't have the clearance. So you just take your time and freehand the screws just as you would with standard deck screws. Then once you get to the second row, you can start breaking out the CAMO jig. This is the one that has 1/16 of a gap. You're not going to want to gap your boards out very much, the minimum possible, because when they dry out, they'll gap out and actually increase the gap between the boards over the months that they start to dry out. So working along, it took me for the 16-foot run about 6 minutes per board, at a nice steady pace, but nothing crazy. Now you're going to see a couple things here. I'm going to continue to measure from my boards to the end of my framing, and also you'll see me use that orange bending tool quite a bit. That is a board bender. Do not try to do a pressure treated deck without a board bender. It is almost impossible to get everything nice, consistent, close gaps without having that tool. And then you want to start to plan out and get your measurements, knowing if you need to gap a little bit more so that your last board will actually give you the reveal you're looking for and you won't come up short. Ask me how I know. My last project, I came up about 1/2 inch or 3/4 of an inch short. Now here's the CAMO tool. You'll actually pull the lever up and it moves out the little stainless steel spacer you see there. Then you put your 2 screws in that are angled perfectly. You make sure everything's lined up because this is the first screws going in. And then it actually bottoms out to the exact depth. You don't have to worry about over tightening. It's a very nice tool and very handy for these type of projects. And it actually hides the fasteners and reduces the amount of splinters that you would pick up when walking on a pressure treated deck. So overall, my progression is going pretty good, but we are coming to the judgment hour if it's actually going to line up, or did I calculate wrong? What you want to do when you get close to the end, pick out one board that is as straight as possible because you're not going to have as much leverage at the end to straighten things out. So I'm going to be pushing manually here to get everything straightened out and buttoned up. Well, overall, it turned out great. It looks fantastic. It's one of those projects that worked out the way you planned it, which doesn't always happen. And it just transforms the space where I have a little seating area. When this is my office, I can come out here and work, and it's exactly what I was looking for. But let me know if you have any questions on your own project down below the video in the comments. I would love to help you guys out. If you want to check out a few other projects we did, which were a big transformation, you can check out this retaining wall we made right here, which was a big project, but it turned this sloping yard into a completely functional area where I could build something like this 12 by 16 modern shed, which I'm turning into kind of my dream office setup. Or if your garage floor has seen better days, you can check out this video right here where I'll walk you through the complete process to get a professional grade epoxy floor, and the results were amazing. So thanks for joining me on this video, and we'll catch you on one of those next ones. Take care.